Good morning, everybody. Aquí el Gallito de la Sierra, aka Crypto Keeper. I do the research so that you don't have to. Sorry that my video is delayed. I got sick. I got really sick these last few days. Actually, my whole household got sick. My kids were sick. One of my daughters was exposed to someone who had COVID-19. Thankfully, she's doing really well now. She did test positive. None of us tested positive for COVID-19. Nonetheless, we still got really sick. So I'm coming off of that. I'm about 85%, feeling better. And thank you for all of you who have been dropping comments on my chat. Appreciate that. Today, I just want to talk to you very shortly about continuing the dialogue, if you will, with what strategies we can use to become better investors, or at least what strategies do I use to become a better and wiser investor. I want to share with you today a couple of different points that I think that makes a person better. And one of those is character. You know, you have to really look at yourself and define yourself in terms of what that character is. When I think of character, I think of moral and ethical behavior. It's very difficult to trust people these days. It's actually, unfortunately, very hard to find somebody you can really trust with your money, with your finances, with almost anything that you feel has value. One of the books that I have read that I used to lecture on is, and I won't lecture, I promise you, is Ethical Theory in Business. It's a very good book. It's a very thick book. In Chapter 3, Managing, Leading, and Governing, gives an introduction of ethical culture and leadership. And to be honest with you, the author, there's a really neat sentence here. The author says that her name's Joanne B. Kulia, defends the thesis that an unethical leader is not a real leader. And it's simply said that, you know, an unethical person doesn't lead anything. They are out there to just really cheat the whole system, cheat themselves, cheat anybody they come across to. That's why in cryptocurrency you have so much fraud, so much scams, because there's just people out there who don't care. They don't have an ethical compass they gauge themselves from. They don't really care. They just care about quick, easy money. And those kinds of people exist everywhere. Now, I have my little black book right here. This is where I write all of the different words that describe me. I'm up to 27 at this point. Number 2 is character. What does character mean to me? And, this should be something that I think everybody needs to define for themselves. So with that said, I have made the choice to really guard my ethics, guard my moral behavior. And I feel that as a result of doing that, I am more honest, I am more careful, I am more astute. And those are the things that it takes for you not to fall into the trap of either somebody who is unethical, intentionally trying to ruin you, or self traps, being aware, being mindful, and doing your part to really know that if it doesn't smell good, then it must not be good. So again, I think character, ethics, moral behavior all plays into becoming a much wiser investor. Now, having said that, there are, let's talk about Meld. One of the things that I think people still don't understand is that Meld will become a financial instrument for the crypto holders. And once Meld launches, you will be able to, hopefully at some point, take loans against your cryptocurrency. And if you haven't really listened to Michael Saylor, you should. I think Michael Saylor really has a very easy way of sharing with people how how can you utilize debt to really use debt to create wealth. I think that's the simplest way to put it. Using debt to create wealth, and never having to ever go without. So Meld to me feels like that's going to be really the vehicle of how I'm going to be able to amount riches beyond my means. And even though I don't make things about money, because that's not my true intention. My true intention is building generational wealth, leaving my kids something that they can say, you know, my father left me something, left me some knowledge, left me something that I can use so that I will never go without, right? That generational wealth that I have not been part of. But hopefully one day my kids will. So anyhow, Meld Protocol, M-E-L-D, Meld Protocol. The Meld Protocol is going to be a banking system that you can utilize, crypto holders can utilize to either invest in it or borrow against it or both, or do much more than just that. Earlier in the year, many of us staked our ADA to the Meld protocol to earn Meld tokens, and those Meld tokens have not been released yet. They are running behind, and I strongly feel, based on what I've read and based on the chat and based on the following, follow Meld on Twitter. They release updates. There's like the bank manager that they're going to give to all of us who were first investors in the ISPO. For those of us who did it first, we get considered as like the diamond hands, and as a result, Meld is going to issue us a bank manager NFT, and so that's going to be coming. In addition to that, we're going to get all of our Meld reward tokens. That's going to be coming. None of those two things have been released yet. The plan was that it was going to be released during this month, leading up to the end of this month, and then we're going to close it. But that's not the case. Meld is still working out all of the details, because Cardano is also working out all of its platform. And so there's just issues behind the scenes that are not necessarily alarming or concerning to me. These things take time. And I appreciate that Meld and many of the other protocols that are going to launch, like Sunday Swap, I appreciate that they take their time in doing it, because I get why they, you know, when you launch something, you don't want it to just launch it for the sake of meeting a deadline. Yes, that's important, but you want to launch it for the sake that you know it's not going to experience too many issues, because I think that could hurt you in the long run if people are utilizing your protocol and they're posting negative opinions about the utility of it. I think that'll hurt you more than it would if somebody's just upset because it hasn't launched and you haven't got your tokens and whatnot. And so hang in there to all of you who have had staked your ADA to the Meld ISPO. Hang in there. They're not going to burn us. They're not going to. It's not a rug pull. You lose nothing, even if they didn't send you anything. But they are. They have a strong team. They are honest. I feel, based on everything that I've listened to, all of the interviews that I've heard with Meld's CEO and CFO, all of it sounds very legit. Good people behind the scenes. And so I think, again, if I were you, I would just be patient and hang in there. And pretty soon we'll be celebrating when those tokens get released and when that bank manager NFT comes out. So why am I so sold on Meld? Well, I have quite a bit of cryptocurrencies, and I only have a bag. You know, if I was to name them all, it's only no more than 10. And these 10 are the 10 that I consider the golden picks. You see, for me, I don't need to have 50 of them. I only need to have 10, and of the 10, I only need to have 3, if not 2, of the most popular, most strongest, most utility tokens that are going to be adopted in the next 10 years. That's it. You only need 2 or 3. Back in the internet launch of Google and Amazon and those few, Apple and Tesla, you only needed 1 or 2 of those good picks, and those 2 would make you millions. And so again, I don't need to get into 50 or 100. I mean, I heard there's like 12,000. I don't even know how many there are out there, but I only stay focused on a very few. Meld is one of those. Meld is going to change the game, I feel, for the next 5 years and into the next 10. And it's going to be in the next 10 years that you'll look back and you'll say, man, I'm glad I picked these 2 or 3. So Meld is one of those for me. Now let me go off of Meld, then I'll come back to Meld and why Meld's going to be very important. So let's say as a Polygon Matic holder and a Cardano ADA holder and a AMP holder, right? Those 3. Let's just take those 3. I own AMP, I own Polymatic, and I own Cardano. Now, Cardano, I have my reasons for owning Cardano. I'll probably hold those and borrow against Cardano often. Same thing with Polymatic. I will not sell my Polymatic because Polymatic is going to be probably a predominant player in the cryptocurrency on layer 2 solutions and scalability. They are the top, and so they will become very powerful. And when they do become very powerful, it'll be kind of like what we're dealing with now, right? The Apples and the Googles and the Amazons. Those are the powerful companies that exist and swallow the whole market. It's difficult for anybody to compete with them at this point because they're so massive. Well, Polygon, Cardano, and anyone else who becomes those top performers, those top companies, it's going to be difficult for anybody else to compete with them. And so they're going to swallow that market. When they do, those tokens are going to be worth a lot of money. And so rather than me selling any of my crypto, I'm going to get in the business of borrowing against it. That is where I feel how Michael Saylor explains those in his videos. He explains how borrowing against what you own, because if you're borrowing against what you own at 5% per year and you borrow 100,000 and it's 5,000 a year that you pay in interest. But if you borrow today at Cardano, say you have $100,000, say you have $200,000 worth of Cardano tokens, and Cardano is at $1.40, and a year from now you borrow 100,000, 50% of the value of the token, and a year from now Cardano's worth, say, $3. Well, at 5%, the 5,000 you paid in interest, you've increased the value of Cardano over the course of the next 12 months by 50%, meaning if it's worth $3 versus the $1.40, well, it's gone up $1.60, meaning the value of those coins is increased substantially, more so than the amount you paid in interest. So I hope this is easy for you to follow, because it's very simple. I mean, it just makes sense. Why would you want to sell at $3 1,000 tokens, or let's say up to the amount of $100,000, pay taxes on that $100,000, and then have the remaining value of that amount, say it was $80,000, and then you spend the $80,000 and now you're without. You only have whatever it is you have left in the market, in the marketplace. So again, I think that makes a whole lot of sense to me. Robert Kiyosaki is another big investor who uses debt to create wealth. You can listen to him. And so, it's not for everybody. I think you need to do your part and listen to it. You need to do your part and research it, and you need to make the decision whether or not that's going to be the way you're going to want to do it. I've made my decision. That's the way I'm going to do it. So AMP token, why AMP token I feel is one of those tokens that is so undervalued. It's, you know, if you look at how much is being sold, is like 75% is being sold and 25% of it is being bought, which is why the price is where it's at. It's not very strong. Recently it went through some major drops, people just dropping the token. And that's all good, because that is where people like me who wait for those drops goes right back into the market. I do expect AMP token dropping a little bit more than under 4 cents. I think Meld has the possibility. I think AMP token has the potential to sell for like $3. For 3.5 cents. Maybe a little slightly higher than 3.5 cents. I'm gonna wait for 3.5 cents. I don't know, folks. We're in 2022. The economy, I'm ready. I am ready. I've mentioned before that I've sold everything I have. I am liquid right now. I haven't sold any of my crypto. Meaning I've sold real estate. I've sold everything that I can possibly sell that had where I cashed out. Now, whether it's going to work out for me or not, I don't know. And this is not financial advice. All I know is that I'm going to be ready. I don't know if it's going to happen in 2022. I don't know if it's going to happen in 2023. If a major crash comes, which would be compared to the crashes we've seen before, I am going to be ready. If the crash doesn't come, it doesn't hurt me. I'm not going without. I don't have anything. All of those things to me, materialistic things to me, have no value to me, which is why I think I live in a very good spot. Right now, I'm renting a home. I'm renting the home I'm in right now. I've mentioned before I had a very beautiful ranch and I dropped it. I had a few rentals. I've dropped them. I'm going to handle my taxes this year on all of that, but I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready for the next crash. And if that crash comes, whether it be in crypto, whether it be in real estate, whether it be in stocks, commodities, whatever it might be, have a notebook. You know, have a notebook. Have it ready to go. Have it written, ready to go. Mine is ready to go. What is it that I'm going to buy? I'm going to buy a lot more Cardano. I'm going to buy a lot more AMP. I'm going to buy a lot more Polymatic. I'm going to buy a lot more Litecoin. I'm going to buy this, that, and the other. I'm going to buy some stocks that I know that if they crash by 50, 60, 70%, I'm going to buy some of those. Apple was one of those. Tesla is another one of those. And Google is another. And so those companies will hurt in the crash, but they will not be obsolete. In other words, they'll remain in the game. It's going to be opportunity for us to jump right back in and gobble some of those stocks at a very cheap price. Now, and the same thing with real estate. So I have this pool of money, liquid, available, so that I can go in and I can jump back into the market when that opportunity presents itself. Now, whether it will or not, nobody can predict that. But based on all of the research that I've done, based on history, based on how the economy has collapsed because of how or where we are at with regards to the last 2-3 years, I think there's a potential for it to come once again here in the next year or so. So that's it, folks. I hope what I've been offering in these videos is useful. You know, just drop me a comment. I'd love to hear you need anything that I've mentioned today, or things that I have not mentioned today that you would like to know more about. I'm happy to cover that. So just to wrap it up, again, to summarize everything that I've said: character, ethics, moral, behavior. I can't tell you how disgusting this world has become. How much stuff is so explicit on TV, on radio, not even in those places. You just go to the mall, go to the fair, how explicit. I see these young little girls, 14, 15, 16 years old, halfly dressed. I mean, this is the stuff that I'm talking about. That is the person you need to change inside. Change that first, and I guarantee you, you will live very happy, you will live very well, and whatever investments you make, the Lord will bless. God bless you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you again for leaving me comments. Till the next one. Aquí el gallito de la sierra checking out. El Kikirikix. Take care.